Mama Ivey? That's your mom?
Yeah.
Hello, Mama Ivey. How are you? What's your mom's name?
Pam.
Pam. Nice to meet you, Antonio. How was he as a baby? Did he cry a lot? No? Not surprised.
That's right.
He didn't start crying until he was about 30.
That's right.
Then he started crying.
Yeah.
Right? He's like, you wouldn't believe how bad I
Full.
was. It's unbelievable.
He had a Punto Banco hot streak like you wouldn't believe.
Andre raising here. With 10-8 of spades. Kings for Antonio.
Typically we'd see a re-raise, though Antonio can be a bit tricky. Still, I like a re-raise because you expect him to do it with far worse a lot of the time.
Antonio does re-raise. Jennifer folds the small blind. Maria gives up the big blind. Action back on Andre.
And because Antonio will 3-bet a lot of the time with bad hands, he can get called out of position.
Heads up to the flop. 7-5 deuce. Antonio, a huge favorite here.
Pretty nice, unscary board to continue with kings.
Antonio bets.
And Andre should really be giving this up.
Oh.
Well, looks like he's assuming that, like himself, Antonio is going to have missed this board a lot. Ace-king and ace-queen both missed huge.
Andre has check-raised for a significant percentage of his stack.
The problem is it's hard for Andre to rep much more than a set here, and the other problem is Antonio has kings.
Oh, yeah. I love that. Shot clock.
30 seconds per decision.
Now, Antonio could put in another raise, but he runs the risk of chasing out Andre's bluffs, which he's pretty likely to be doing on a board like this.
The 10-second warning is sounded. And on the 5-second mark, Antonio calls. The turn card is a 9. Andre picks up a straight draw.
That is a great/terrible card for Andre. Gives him way more outs to win, but it's probably more likely just enough rope to hang himself with. I think he might be painted into a corner here.
His clock is running. 10 seconds. He's played a time bank chip. He gets an additional 30 seconds thinking time.
Andre might still assume Antonio's got some kind of hand he could fold, like ace-king, ace-queen, some pocket pairs. That would be a very deadly assumption. And you know what they say about assuming? It makes a ming of you ass.
Andre commits another significant chunk of his stack.
Leaves himself very few chips behind. Which means Antonio probably won't just call.
All in.
He shoves.
Wow. We have action.
Remember that corner I said Andre had painted himself into? This isn't just any corner. He's going to need a jetpack to get out of this corner, and it's probably going to burn the whole house down.
Antonio has him covered by 2,000 chips. This is a decision for Andre's tournament life. 10 seconds. Time bank deployed.
I don't think all the time in the world is going to make Andre's decision any easier.
He's called. And he's going to need to hit to survive. He needs a jack or a 6 or we're already down to 5.
That moment when you realize guy just got to do a 10 high and $1 million free roll.
They told me you were tight, man.
I didn't say that. They told you. I didn't say it.
They told you. I didn't say it. I didn't say it. That's a good answer.
It's all fun and games until somebody peels a jack. Just kidding. No chance. Antonio doesn't get sucked out on.
Andre has 8 outs. He doesn't hit on the river. He's out in 6th place.
Good luck, man. Take it easy.
And I don't think any of us expected to see a hand like that in the first orbit of the final.
That was very weird. It's like he had a plane to catch.
5 players remaining. Jennifer folds.
Are you serious with the yawning?
All right. Let's go 24.
Daniel raising the button with Jack 10 suited.
I'm going to play poker now. And we're just sitting out and watching from the sidelines. Right?
That's not your
Can't
style.
win. Eventually. I mean, I was trying it, the tight thing.
Phil Ivey with ace-king in the small blind re-raises. Antonio with 8s in the big blind. Calls.
All right. It's a party.
I've never seen Ivey and Negreanu play a pot in person, and Antonio. James, look how excited I am.
And how excited is Daniel going to be by that flop? Trip tens.
Oh, Daniel, from worst to first. Phil may actually not continue this, yep.
He checks to Antonio.
Antonio could take over the betting.
And that's what he does.
He's gonna find out pretty fast if he's beat. This board is drier than a nun's dry cleaner. How do you think she keeps those habits so clean?
Daniel calls.
I don't think Phil can really stick around. He doesn't even have a draw. Making a pair could have some pretty dire consequences if someone's got a 10, which Daniel does.
Well, let's allow him to stroke his chips first.
Stroke.
5 seconds, Phil.
For his sake, I hope he's posturing like an ergonomics expert.
You got a lot of ideas in your head over there, huh? He's always got ideas.
Phil finally folds.
He really does have ideas. He's got his own app.
So heads up to the turn. Daniel, a 91% favorite. Make that 95%.
I would be pretty surprised if Antonio bets this again. Then again, maybe thinks Daniel would have called the flop with any pair, so he's still beating stuff like 7s, 4s, 5s, deuces, ace queen, ace jack.
10 seconds, Mr. Esfandiari. 5 seconds. And a bet.
Maybe he's setting up a massive river bluff.
Does Daniel just call again?
Where did my money go?
These pots get really big really fast. Daniel can't actually be worried, though.
10 seconds.
I mean, maybe he's beat, but if he is, he's getting stacked. There's not much to worry about.
He's played a time bank chip.
There's got to be some more posturing, I guess.
Daniel calls. We're going to the river and the cage is in play.
Oh boy, we got a river, first one.
The river is a 5.
Get in that cage.
I don't think anyone shall be going to the cage at this hand.
Antonio checks. And when Daniel bets, it will be for value.
So I put this over here, right? And then all in.
All you can eat.
255.
200. No. It's actually 475.
Wait a minute. I thought I had... Okay, never mind. That's so stupid. I do that all the time. I thought I had 275 left.
We've seen Daniel play the confused old man before. It's about as believable as a compliment from Antonio or a sickly cough from Hardigan. Either way, it's gonna get a fold.
5, 4, 3, 2, fold.
You know, Phil knows when this comes out.
When what comes out? Oh, the value card. Drink it in, Antonio.
Phil knows I never leave home without a 10. You know, anytime Phil's in a pot, I got a 10.
It's amazing how many times he has.
Yeah. I really thought when you bet 204, I thought I had 250 left, not 450. Not like it matters much. That's when I said, where'd my chips go?
How do you flop sets like that? Strong.
He does it.
That's
with
how I
one
play.
hand and you just flop strips. No big deal. You know, I'm Daniel on the ground. Yeah, it's like 20 years it's been happening, you know?
That's what I've been doing for 20
So
20
sick.
years. It still works. I was suited.
I'll play. Sure. 10, 10, 6.
Yeah. It's a mystery, huh?
You almost had me too. I was going to do
You were
something
going to do
stupid.
it? It looked like it. I was rooting for you.
The shot clock saved me.
Yeah.
Maybe I got Billy D. Williams to go instead.
Jen folding ace deuce. Maria passes. Daniel
Raise. 30,000.
with queen 7 of clubs.
Well, he is in position.
Oh, hello. Another pocket pair for Antonio. 10s this time.
Oh man, when Daniel wins this one, Antonio's really gonna lose his shib.
Just a call from Antonio. And a low flop. Antonio a 4-1 favourite. Action goes check, check. Daniel picks up a straight draw on the turn.
But Antonio is definitely going to start betting now.
There's the bet.
Daniel's move seems fairly obvious.
He calls. And we go to the river. Power up the shark cage. Power down the shark cage. Daniel just got there.
Antonio said it. He put it out there in the universe. He said Daniel always gets there. He made it happen. It's called The Secret, and it's pretty much responsible for everything ever. Like, I'm probably going to spill my drink. Oh, shib.
Antonio about to bet.
I don't see how this could possibly be a bluff.
Betting with his overpair for value.
So he wants to go to the cage, is what he's saying. I think you might go. I don't know. So if he's bluffing, I call him. He goes, hangs out there for a little while. Ah.
Daniel calls with his straight.
Boom.
Antonio, let's see that.
He goes to go to the cage, right? If it's a bluff. No value, never mind.
For 10.
You thought it was another card?
Straight.
Yeah,
I have
got
straight.
Straight with queen 7.
Of course.
God, you just get there.
I
huh?
do. That's how I play.
Dude, that's how I play.
You just
I'm so happy.
sick.
The worst winner ever.
Antonio still chip leader. Daniel not that far behind him. Phil is now the shortest. Oh, I'd forgotten about Andre.
No, Andre.
Action is on Phil, who has ace-queen. And he's raising. 10-9 suited for Antonio. He calls.
Playable.
Maria also has ace-queen.
Also playable.
She calls as well. 3-way to the flop.
You don't mind the old 9-10 with 2 ace-queens out there.
2 clubs on the flop. Flush draw for Antonio.
Club's looking real good now.
Maria checks.
Here comes the C-bet.
What does Antonio do with his draw?
He's got plenty of chips.
That is a raise.
Ooh, he knows Phil's going to continue no matter what, and he knows Phil probably didn't hit this flop too hard.
Maria's folded.
Phil's got backdoor clubs, overs, and also the best hand for now. He's also got a butt that won't quit, seriously. That's why poker should be played standing up.
What?
Just move on. Turn card.
Okay, it's the 5 of diamonds. Phil still ahead with ace high. He checks.
Antonio's pretty likely to double barrel here. Problem is this turn card is unlikely to be much of a scare card for whatever Phil called the flop with.
"15 seconds, Antonio."
I like betting, though, because you build a pot if you hit your hand, and if not, maybe your guy folds.
Antonio requests more time. So there's 433,000 in the pot. Phil is the effective stack with about 650,000 behind. Here comes a bet from Antonio.
Not a huge bet. Looks like Antonio's looking for the deal of the century. Phil's not exactly known as the type of guy to give up too easily. You think Phil Ivey became the kind of guy who forgets his best friends being inducted into the Poker Hall of Fame by folding turns? Come on.
10 seconds.
Oh, you have 3.
5 seconds. Time back.
Boy, he sure does not like to give up.
Phil calls the bet. We are going to the river and the cage is in play.
Maybe Antonio will finally catch a card.
He does. He rivers a flush. Phil with just ace high.
Uh-oh, what's he up to? He ain't checking no more.
10 seconds left on his shot clock. 5 seconds. He requests more time.
I just realized if he bets here and it's a bluff, he could go to the cage.
That's a huge bet. That's 60% of his chips. And there's the bluff card.
Oh man, Phil Ivey could be going into the cage. I never got to see Tony Soprano in a cage. I never got to see Walter White in a cage, but come on, Antonio, put Phil Ivey in the cage.
All in.
No! He shoves!
Phil's not going into the cage. This is literally the most disappointed I've ever been watching television ever.
Antonio's just missed out on the chance to put Phil Ivey behind bars and win $25,000!
We're not going to make a big deal about it, though. Just kidding, of course we are!
You made a flush, huh?
It seems like it. I mean, didn't.
Joke. I knew you had a hand like that, too.
Phil left super short. Blinds are up to 8-16.
Puke, I'm talking about puking.
I got it. Maria with ace-queen. Raises. Action on Phil, who's got sixes.
Smaller.
He shoves. Antonio has ace-10.
Now, it's easy for me to say because I can see all the hole cards, but I think Antonio gets away from this. He might be flipping with Phil, but he's still got Maria to worry about.
Maria. Maria! 10 seconds.
Uh-oh.
5 seconds. Fold.
Maria, not getting away.
Call.
She calls, and Phil Ivey is flipping for his tournament life.
We have a race.
Like pie versus cake, one of these two hands has a slight mathematical advantage. I think Phil's mom is a pie lady.
No way, she is 100% a lady of cake. King Jack 5 on the flop. Maria with a gut shot.
Who's in the lead right now, pie or cake? I can't even remember.
Phil 6 is a 2-1 favorite. Maria still has 8 outs. An ace, queen, or 10 eliminates Phil Ivey.
That's a fair amount of outs.
Cake. The river card is a 4. Phil doubles up.
You win this time, cake.
Nice hand.
Thanks.
Okay, Joseph, how do you feel about playing a hand against Phil Ivey?
Not gonna lie, don't really want to do it. However, if we have to, can we at least play along with one of the smartest people I've ever met?
She has a boyfriend, Joe.
Call.
Jennifer calling with ace, queen suited. Everyone else folds to Phil Ivey's raise. So let's go in the tank with Jennifer and go to the flop. Ace, 8-8.
Awesome, we just beat Phil Ivey. Brick, brick, ship it.
No continuation bet from Phil.
Which means we should probably start betting this for value.
There's a bet.
Fine, Phil, call. See if I care.
To the turn. A 7. Phil checks again.
I say we bet this again.
No, Jennifer checks behind. We're going to the river. The cage is in play. It's a 9.
Jen is smarter than me and probably realized we couldn't get 3 streets of value, meaning if we bet 3 streets and Phil comes along for the ride the whole time, it might be him taking us for the ride and not the other way around.
Jen betting the river. And she is playing the value card.
Most certainly a bet for value. And we definitely want to get called. There we go.
Hold up there.
Son of a...
Phil has just check raised. And we don't know if this is a raise for value or if this is a bluff.
This is a pretty sick spot. I'm not even in this spot for real, and I feel sick. Could be the leftover Chinese food. Regardless, we're gonna need some time. Oh man, like a drunken telemarketer. I'm leaning toward a call.
10 seconds. And a time bank chip has been deployed.
Okay, here's why I like a call. A, Phil doesn't know who we are, so he's gonna think he can boss us. 2, Phil just got reminded about the 25K bluff bonus, so it's fresh in his mind. D, pot odds or something, probably.
Another time bank chip.
4, what can he have here? An 8? Oh man, I just realized he's got tons of 8s and 2 pairs and straights in his range. Fudge, this is so hard. Why did we bet the river?
You were 100% supportive of her betting the river.
Okay, well, I think we should call. It's not my $1 million free roll.
Is that a third time bank chip?
Jen's known for taking a while with her decisions.
I love this thing.
It's great.
Say the casual observers.
Call.
Jen calls.
Come on.
Phil tables pocket aces.
Pretty sure it's value.
Yeah.
Gross. Oh, God, I'm gonna be sick.
Nice hand.
Flop to full house.
That's orange chicken. That's orange chicken on the ground right here.
Well, after that hand, Jennifer becomes the short stack. Phil moves up over $1 million. He's in third behind Daniel and Antonio. Blinds are still 8-16.
One more. Yeah.
Nah, you don't need 2 cards and the button. Not you, Phil.
Phil Ivey once won a hand with a deuce and an airplane safety instruction card.
35.
Daniel raising with Queen 9 of diamonds.
Super hard to protect your hand when you've got that airplane safety card. It's huge.
Antonio calling with 5s. Jen in the big blind. Folds. So it's flop time for these two.
It's a race if we see all 5 cards. Daniel's been holding over Antonio so far today.
Jack 8-6. Antonio's 5s still ahead. Daniel with a straight draw.
3 overs though, yeah.
Antonio checks. Daniel checks. The turn card is a 4. Antonio now a 3-1 favorite.
Seems like Antonio's maybe a little snake pit playing against Daniel. Don't let him get there.
He checks. Daniel checks. Here comes the cage street. The river card is a 10. Have a word, ref. Daniel rivers a straight again.
Man, Daniel did it to him again.
Chances are he'll be betting this for value.
And if Antonio calls a value bet here, he's going to lose it like Tom Cruise and Jerry Maguire. He's going to have a massive freak out and start turning over cameras.
Can he really call here with just pocket 5s?
Well, there's only 4 over cards in a straight out there. Oh, and a flush is...
Antonio has 10 seconds left to make a decision. 5 seconds.
Oh, that's such a dirty move.
He folds.
So he goes to the cage if this is a bluff card? Damn it. Everybody's rooting, huh?
Even myself.
Wait, what?
Blinds are now 10,000, 20,000 with a 5,000 ante. Action folded to Phil. He's got ace king of hearts. And he raises. It's Jen's big blind. She's got ace-jack.
I'm all in.
She shoves
Oh boy.
Call.
and gets called.
She lost most of her chips to him a few hands ago, and now he's back to finish the job. He's like Jason from the horror movies, only not quite as friendly.
Jennifer at risk and dominated.
It is the nation of domination.
Nothing for her on the flop. Well, a couple of clubs, a backdoor draw.
It's like you guys both noticed the clubs at the same time.
The turn card is a club.
Hey, hey, hey!
Uh-oh.
Jen has 11 outs. She survives if a club or jack hits the river. The last card doesn't save her.
Ace of diamonds.
Good game, guys. Good luck.
Game.
Applause, please, for Jennifer.
We lose Jennifer Shahadi in 5th place.
Good game. Good luck.
I guess if you're gonna lose, it's best to lose to the best player in the world.
Silver linings. So as we rejoin the action, blinds are 10,000 and 20,000 with a 5,000 ante. It's been folded to Antonio on the button, who's got ace-4.
The ace is pump fake. Good enough for Antonio.
That's a raise. Maria folds. Daniel, with jack-7 suited, calls.
D-Negs.
Yep.
You know, this is the kind of thing that keeps women away from the game.
Heads up to the flop. Which gives Daniel second pair, bottom pair for Antonio.
This is some classic Daniel versus Antonio.
Daniel is checked. Antonio bets.
I'm kind of surprised he continued when this board hits Daniel's range so hard, but make no mistake, he'd be much happier with a fold here.
Daniel calls.
I do not think Antonio will bet again.
Turn card is a deuce. Doesn't change anything. And the action goes check, check. We're going to the cage street. The river is a 5. So Daniel's got a lock on this.
And if he bets it, he'll definitely play the value card. If he gets called, it'll almost always be by a better hand, so he can't afford to risk going to the cage.
There's the value card, followed by the bet.
As it is the best hand, and he probably won't get called. So because of the cage, Antonio does have to think about it.
His shot clock's running.
But like a guy coughing into a rag in a zombie movie, Daniel's always got it.
Antonio, down to 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. He folds.
Always. Always with the value. That's how I roll.
We know.
That's how I roll.
Yeah.
You know who else knows? Antonio.
Blinds are up to 12-24 with an 8k ante. Action will be on Antonio. Queen 9 offsuit.
Here we go again.
He raises. Maria folds. Daniel's out. Phil in the big blind with King 10.
Philip Horatio Ivey.
He defends. And once again, Antonio's opponent flops best. Phil with top pair, Antonio with second pair.
No matter how good a poker player you are, it's hard to win if you can't catch a card.
Action goes check, check, turn for free. Deuce of diamonds. Phil picks up a flush draw to go with top pair.
And he's very likely to start going for value now.
He leads.
Antonio's got no choice but to pay this off.
We go to the river, and that means the cage is in play. 6 of clubs.
Phil should feel pretty confident in betting this again.
Here comes a chunky bet. And here comes the value card.
This time, Antonio's got a little bit tougher decision. Phil's going to be bluffing here more often than Daniel. Going into the cage at this point would be a bigger disaster than accidentally replying all when you've been BCC'd on an email, Francine.
We laugh because it's funny, we laugh because it's true. Antonio is down to 10 seconds. 5 seconds. He calls.
Man, Antonio's been running like he's in one of those dreams where your feet don't move.
Phil takes him to Value Town.
And to Frown Town.
Nice hand.
Thank you.
Phil first to speak, and he's got Ace King. He raises. Antonio with Jack 8 of clubs on the button.
He's lost the first 2 pots, and I don't think this one's gonna go his way either.
Ooh, he's getting frisky. Tries a little re-raise.
3rd time lucky.
Maria folds. Daniel with ace-2 suited. He passes. So action back on Phil.
So we know it's virtually impossible that Ivey's gonna fold. But will he do more than call?
Whatever he does, he'll do it like a boss, because he's Phil Ivey.
Oh, that's Phil Ivey.
Sigh. 10-second warning. 5 seconds.
I'm all in.
Phil shoves.
Hiya! Most of the time, this is a fold. Fold like the wind, but Antonio's lost like 2 hands in a row, and he's probably a little frustrated. And they're suited! Straight flush draw, come on! Yeah, he should probably fold. I just like the action.
Antonio's clock is ticking. He folds. And Phil takes the chip lead. It's actually pretty close between Phil, Antonio, and Maria, with Daniel bringing up the rear. Blind still 12-24. Action folded to Daniel. Not going to play his button. Phil with ace king again. Just calls in the small blind. Pocket 7s for Antonio.
Get out your springboard and your mat, because we's about to be flipping.
Antonio goes for the raise.
Well, if you ain't flipping, then you must be tripping. Put your hand up on my chips. When I flip, you flip, we flip.
Please stop.
You put your... Okay. When I flip, you flip, we flip.
Phil does know there's a shot clock, right?
Think this boss cares?
It's down to 5 seconds. And that is a re-raise. Action back on Antonio.
You put your hand up on my chips. When I flip, you flip, we flip.
I told you to stop.
All he's got to do is get it in.
Ten-second warning.
All in.
All in and a call.
Like blondes versus brunettes, one of these 2 hands has the slight mathematical advantage.
This is the one.
This is kind of the one to win.
Good luck, sir.
Thank you. You too.
It's a real nail biter.
Antonio needs his 7s to hold. He's the player at risk here. And there's an ace on the flop.
Naturally.
He is a natural, a real wonder boy.
Antonio now needs a 7.
That was fun. You know?
2 outs. And he needs to hit on the river.
There's still hope.
A 5% chance of survival. The river is a deuce.
Deuce of spades. Let's have a
Good
round
luck.
of applause, please, for Antonio Esfandiari.
Good luck.
Going to finish the shark cage.
Good luck, Ho.
He held the chip lead for so long.
Why don't you please win?
I don't think any of us expected him to go in 4th place.
More cheddar to the eventual winner.
On this hand, we're going to go in the tank with Daniel. We'll only see his hole cards, which are 7-5. He's called. Phil, who now has a ridiculous chip lead, calls out of the small blind.
Interesting limp by us like verbal Kint. Hopefully we'll get away with it. Like verbal Kint.
Maria has checked her option. We're going three-way to the flop. Queen 6-4. Up and down straight draw for Daniel.
That's about as good a flop as we could hope for. Plus, we're Daniel. We're gonna get there.
Phil bets out. Maria folds.
I like calling here. Sometimes Phil will give up and we can steal it. Sometimes we'll hit our hand.
Daniel does call. The turn card is a 7. Second pair for Daniel to go with that straight draw. Phil checks.
I think we should probably just check. I think we should probably just bet. I meant to say bet.
Daniel does bet. And what's Phil thinking?
He's thinking, what's this guy got? What's this guy over here got? What does he got me beat?
Oh, Phil's check raised.
And that's why I was going to opt for a check there. We can't really fold this, I don't think. The problem is if we can and don't improve when we face Phil's bet on the river, we'll be in a real spot.
Time ticking away for Daniel. 10 seconds left to make a decision. He elects to call.
Like there was ever any doubt what Daniel was going to do.
The river card is the 7 of hearts. Trips for Daniel, but it does put a potential flush out there.
Well, what was I thinking? We're Daniel Negreanu. We're Kid Poker. Documentary coming soon. Of course we're going to improve. The problem is that Phil could have been raising us on the turn with a flush draw. Easily.
Yeah. 10 seconds. 5 seconds. And there's a bet from Phil.
Last time we played against Phil, I was dead certain we should call, and I was dead wrong. In this spot, I think he's going to have us beat a lot.
Oh, boy.
Like a one-legged laundry clerk, I am leaning toward a fold.
Daniel is down to 10 seconds.
Man, really? I need a time.
He plays a time bank chip.
The one thing we got going for us is that I don't think Phil expects us to have a 7 very often. He could be trying to bluff us off a worse hand. But Phil knows how much Daniel loves to call, and Daniel knows Phil knows that.
I just feel like you have full house. You got Queen 7.
This is basically old poison wine routine.
I don't think I can fold it.
Daniel calls.
Ace queen.
Phil claims to have ace queen, but he doesn't. He was bluffing with jack 8.
Ivey's fallen victim to one of the classic blunders.
Ace Queen, huh? Okay. This is Ivy style. Ace Queen or 8-9, whatever. I don't remember.
Lines now 15,000, 30,000 with a 10,000 ante. King 9 suited for Phil. Raising the button. Maria with jack 10 in the small blind. She's now the shortest stack at the table. She calls.
75 is a total.
Correct.
Daniel getting a great price, but he's way behind.
King 3 of diamonds. 3-way to the flop. Which is 7-6-6. So Phil had the best hand pre-flop, and he has the best hand post-flop with King 9 high.
Everyone's checked to the razor.
He checks behind. Double paired board now.
The king highs are chopping this. And I don't think anyone can bet it.
It checks around again. Queen on the river. So if this goes to showdown, Daniel and Phil will chop this pot.
But it might not go to showdown. Maria, 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 you cheeky little monkey.
She bets.
I think Daniel lets this go. No!
Think again. He raises.
The rare Negreanu River bluff raise.
And he gets a fold from the guy he was chopping with.
Though technically he's bluffing with the best hand, which means Maria can't even call. She can jammity 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 jam, but it seems unlikely.
Yeah, she lets it go.
Bluff?
Huh? What's that?
That was a bluff, wasn't it, Daniel?
What are you talking about?
That was a bluff.
What do you mean bluff, Phil?
Yeah, that was a bluff. That one was a bluff.
Why? What did you see? You saw something different? Makes you think it was a bluff?
I just thought it was
I gotta
a bluff.
know. I gotta know.
I
what
just
you're
thought that
trying to
one was a
Phil,
bluff.
I gotta know too. So you
Everybody
tell
wants
me
to
what
know.
you know.
Well, you tune in and watch Shark Cage, and you'll find out.
Cool story, Jason. Blinds 15-30. Maria is the short stack. King 9.
Hold on.
She shoves. Daniel folds. Phil with ace 6. Calls.
Phil calls. He has
Phil's got
ace 6 against
Maria's
king
got
9.
King 9.
I'm pretty sure both of you did this correctly. According to
He
the
has the 9 of spades, the king of clubs.
Chart.
I only
Phil
know
has the
Shad
6 of
chart. I
hearts
don't
and
know
the
Paul's
ace of
chart.
spades.
So Maria at risk and behind.
Phil, do you remember that time like 3 people ago when your tournament life was on the line
Yeah.
against
do.
me? Feel like it's kind of a return the favor
fair.
type deal.
give you a
I'm
shot.
good at returning favors.
That's what she said. Get it?
Why cut to his mom?
I do.
That's what I meant the
Daniel.
first time.
I know you did. I'm just helping the people at
You're a
home.
sick man.
Helping the people at home. Who
Got
knows?
issues.
Look at that smile.
You having fun, are you, Daniel?
Yeah. Aren't you?
Yeah.
It's fun. She will be if she wins this pot.
I've had fun no matter what, but I do want to win this pot. Like, let's not
Well, you know, that might
If she
change.
wins his hand,
let's not
she'll
get
be
it twisted.
having
I
fun.
do
That's what I said.
want to win this pot, but I have
King or
had
9
fun.
comes. Oh, party time. Shots.
Phil gives absolutely zero fudges.
The flop is pretty much all Phil.
The chart says lots of turns have Maria drawing dead.
Really good flop for Phil.
Phil's the only player with
Heart.
a heart.
You are sharp.
I know. See how fast I
Leading
figured that
with
out?
ace.
You don't need a chart.
Maria looking for a king or a 9. 7 of hearts on the turn. Reduces Maria's outs.
I can't decide if the king of spades is coming on the river or the 9 of clubs.
Yeah, you're between those two. It's a good coin flip if those are the two.
Maria being swept by her boyfriend Luke or Glenn or Noah, I don't know, some boy band name.
Maria's tournament life on the line. The all-important river card is a 7. She's out in third.
Does that mean no
Round
shots?
of applause, please, for Maria Ho. Finished the Shark Cage final table in 3rd place.
Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Eventually, you're gonna do it.
This is history, ladies and gentlemen. This is like the De Niro Pacino restaurant scene in Heat. And Phil Ivey, great ass!
Blinds are still 15-30. Phil raising his button with 9-6.
Cool.
Daniel's in with ace 4 of clubs.
Daniel starting off with the best of it like we would expect, but heads up, things can get a little weird.
3 of hearts.
Check.
Queen of diamonds.
Daniel's
spades,
still with the
check.
best hand. Here comes a bet from Phil. And Daniel check raises.
And I don't think this is really a bluff. I think he knows he's raising with the best hand.
Phil calls.
That is a weird float. Phil's probably got a trick or two up his sleeve.
Or maybe this was the plan. Hit a 6 on the turn.
Yeah, one of those tricks was to peel a 6, I guess.
Daniel now checks.
Phil's gonna be pretty confident he's got the best hand since Daniel would probably never actually raise a queen.
Phil bets. Roughly half pot.
If Daniel calls here, he's probably prepared to call river too.
He does call. The river card is an 8, so Phil with the best of it. Daniel checks. And Phil bets.
This is awesome.
I don't have that good a hand. So I don't have that good a hand, but I don't know. I felt like he was gonna try to make a goofy move, so I might pay him. 400?
Yes.
Trying to say you have a queen, sir? When do you have? How do you? You're gonna learn my trick? How to flop trips?
I lost my screen.
I don't know. Okay.
Daniel calls.
You're right.
And Phil takes the chip lead.
You son of a gun. I played good, kinda, except you got there.
Now Phil has the advantage and the blinds are up to 20,000, 40,000. 8-7 for Daniel.
90,000.
He raises. Ace queen suited for Phil.
Oh, really now?
He's re-raised.
So he did.
And he's got by far the best of it.
Okay.
Daniel calls.
Could be a good one.
The flop. Sees Daniel pair is 8.
Daniel's back to his old tricks again. Not even a club out there for Phil.
Phil continues. Daniel's all in.
You don't want to know. 4. You got another 1.4, 1.5, 1.6, 1.6, 50 ace high. I mean, that's your hand, sorry.
1 point what?
1.65.
Looks like Phil's calling.
Got ace high? Yeah.
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 Phil
No
calls.
good. Of course. I mean, I got it.
Okay.
Daniel, a 3-1 favorite to double up here.
Daniel's in the lead with a pair of 8s.
That's correct.
But he needs to dodge aces and queens.
Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
Neither one of these guys got to where they are today by being unlucky, that's for sure.
If Phil hits, it's all over. The turn card is a 9. Daniel now an 86% favorite. Phil still looking for an ace or a queen for the win.
Yeah. All in. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, you said it. Now, no ace, no queen. You win.
You hear his accent? Do it.
Yeah, he's very good.
Oh, God.
I have pair, 8. He is no pair, ace high. I told him, ace high, call anyway. I say, you ace high. He say, call.
Now you win.
Not yet.
see?
Maybe an ace or a queen come.
Feel, but if you,
never
give
know.
me, but if you give me 1,000, then I lose.
That's it?
You my favorite.
Okay.
Okay.
You could be
Okay.
bought. You could be bought.
He can be bought, his allegiance.
Daniel, sorry.
Okay.
Never heard of a Russian accepting a bribe.
The river
Boom.
is a 6.
Says boom. Full house. Full house. 1.65 million because I got a full house. And he's got ace high over there. Yeah. Champion over here. Can't see, how much is he playing about?
Not as much as I was.
Oh, yeah, you don't have that much.
Yeah, I don't.
What did you
Phil
rate?
raises to 90,000.
Yes, he did with ace 3. Daniel, king deuce.
He's in.
Well, it is suited.
And there's no point in 3-betting. He'll likely just get jammed on by better.
The flop is 8 trade deuce, pairs for both players.
It could all go in here. No.
Phil bets. Daniel calls. The turn card is another 3 trips for Phil.
And Daniel is drawing deed.
Phil bets again.
And that tray ball's a great card for Phil because I don't think Daniel's going to be too scared of it.
Yep. He calls again. We go to the river, which is another 8, counterfeiting Daniel's deuces. He's checked for a 3rd time.
He's looking at me funny.
Bring it on down to Valueville.
All in.
All in.
All in.
Phil shoved.
That card didn't help me. Maybe it did. Are you trying to bluff me?
No.
Whatever. Go ahead.
Daniel folds.
Had the other pair.
Deuces.
Good kicker, though. You bluff that one?
Of course not.
It's true, unless you folded an 8, he did not bluff that one.
Daniel with the Ivey hand.
90.
9-6.
I think the Ivey hand is 6-9, James.
And Phil has Queen 7 again.
I'm not gonna talk like a computer.
And Phil flops top pair. Daniel with a gut shot straight draw. Bets.
Phil might finally get some back here. Or Daniel can continue running like Secretariat.
Yeah, he's got all kinds of tricks. He does that to see what I do with my eyes and stuff, and then he does it. I gotta stop looking. Oh no! You know I had garbage. You win. He does the. Stole that move from Scotty Wynn. He used to do that all the time.
Blinds are now 25,000 and 50,000 with a 15,000 ante. Phil's got 8-9. He raises. Daniel with a pair of 7s. That's a re-raise.
I like the 3-bet. Daniel doesn't mind getting it in with 2 7s here, but I don't see Phil folding 9 high either. He's way too likely to be live.
He calls in position. The flop is King 8-7, a pair for Phil, but a set for Daniel. Daniel checks.
Huh.
Phil checks behind.
Both playing it slow, but Daniel's playing it slowier.
The turn card is a 5, giving Phil a straight draw.
And now that Phil's got a legit draw, it makes it even less likely that he's gonna fold.
Daniel bets.
I'm all in.
Phil shoves!
I call.
And Daniel calls!
Set.
Set's good.
This could be it!
Oh, I win. Oh no, you need a 6. Never mind.
Yeah.
I didn't see that part. But I'm in good shape right now. I'm ahead.
Best shape of his life.
You never know.
Yeah.
Phil needs a 6.
Don't do it to us. We got some drinking to do.
4 cards Ivey can hit.
Something tells me Team Ivy's not exactly worried where their next meal's coming from.
It's okay. He'll be fine. Maybe he's in good hands.
Doesn't look like their first rodeo.
You don't want to win like that anyway, catching a 6. Huh? You don't care, right? Just however it happens. That would be dirty. He won't. He doesn't want to win that way. He'd throw it back. If a 6 comes, he'd just throw it back.
I sure would.
He'd be like, you know what? No, I don't want it. I can't win like that. Bad for my reputation.
The only thing that's bad for Phil's reputation is how much smiling he's been doing. Isn't that right, you little cutie pie?
The river card is a 10. Daniel takes it down.
Applause for both of these fantastic.
1-0. Whoa!
Hey, Phil, the bad news is you gotta sweep that up.
Look at this.
Read the fine print, brother.
Yay! What's that? No, I know. Sober. I'm gonna. Thank you. It was fun. We had fun. Hey, thanks. Appreciate it. Boo! She says boo. You don't mean it.
I do.
No, only a little bit. He came second. That's pretty good. That's almost as good as first.
Good for $0.
It's right up there. Yeah, exactly.
Guess what, Daniel? The taxes on $1 million are outrageous.
Congratulations to Daniel, commiserations to Phil.
Yeah, where the party at? No, seriously, where is it? I want to go.